Happy Sunday evening, folks. My latest project's coming at you. I'm just going to get straight into it. This was a project, it's for my sister-in-law. She's been down to the house, ate all our food, seen me TV stand, and reckons she wants one. So I've got no choice, I've got to make her one, Anna. So anyway, here we go. Just taking the corners off this wood, the little roundovers. I just want to get this down to size. During this video, I'm going to ask you, my lovely subscribers and viewers, some questions, and in the comments, what I want you to do is spark some conversation with answering, so other people can see, and just see if we can get some lively debate going on the comment section. I am going to be setting up a membership thing for YouTube. All my content's going to be the same. Everybody's going to see my videos. That's not going to change. It's going to be just like extra things, like a video may go out a day before or something like that. But, you know, for everybody, my channel is for everybody. So my content is going to be the same. It's just that I'm just thinking of a few things for memberships just to help maintain my channel and keep things ticking over. Just be careful here with the table saw. As you can see there, I nearly got a bit of kickback. Get your push stick down, or your block on top of it down as soon as you can, and take your time. We're beginners, so take your time. Last thing you want is a life-changing injury like them fingers going walkie somewhere. So anyway, question number one to you all: what got you interested in woodworking? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to be doing a video coming out very soon where I ask on a poll about basically how I got into woodworking, what drives me, what I do, a bit about me. I think it's only fair that everybody knows who I am, what I do, what my DNA is, sort of thing. So I'm just going to do that. So here I'm going on, I'm just measuring this. This is 8x1. So in this project, there's a mixture of 8x1 and 6x1. And that's what I used. And there was the 2x4 or the 4x2, but I cut it down because I wanted some 4x1, which I've not got. So I thought, and I had some spare left over from another project. So I thought I would cut that down. So just be careful here again with my heater, the sawdust heater. I'm not tempting fate, I've changed the name of it. I've got some stickers coming for that. And any of you out there that are makers, I'm interested in doing some sticker swaps with people. I'm not bothered where you are in the world. If you're interested, let me know. I'll get a board made for the back of my video, so it'll be seen every time I do these videos, so you can have your sticker on there. I don't want big companies or anything like that. This is for makers and newbie sort of woodworkers and stuff like that might get a bit of a plug on my channel. So I want to try and give something back. So that's that. So let me know. So question 2: what's the biggest challenge have you come across as a beginner? What's the biggest challenge you've come across as a beginner? Sorry for stuttering, it's just because I'm trying to read as well. I'm just keeping it real, no editing here. So yeah, the biggest challenge you've come across as a beginner. So let me know in the comments what that is, and let me know where you're all from. I always ask that question. Now I'm using my Max T random orbital sander here, just putting a pencil mark over the top. I got some nice hints and tips off a few viewers about the Cubitron paper, and I was actually using it wrong, and I said it in my last video, I was using it wrong. I took it on the chin, and I'm picking up tips just like that, like the little pencil mark, I'll go over it. When the pencil mark's gone, it's sanded down. Now this wood's good anyway. I've got a good batch of wood from my local wood yard that's come last lot, so it's good wood. But just to show you, and I've got to say, the Cubitron paper, the more I'm using it, the more I'm finding it absolutely amazing. So it is better than the cheaper stuff. I will say that. I've got no faults with it. It is really good stuff. And the more I'm, like I say, the more I'm using it, the better it is, the better and better it is. It's like anything. The more you do something, repeat, and practice, the better you get at it. So I'm finding this a lot better. So yeah, that's that. And the benefit of this sander, even though I've got it hooked up to the dust extractor, shop vac, really, it's not a dust extractor, is there's no dust. It's just sort of basically zero. I've got a mask on as well, but it's virtually dust free. So if you can save up, if you're gonna be getting a new sander, please have a look at these, the Max T's. I'll put a link down in the description. I'm not sponsored or anything like that by them. I ain't got any sponsors on my video. If anybody's out there wants to sponsor me videos, mind you, as long as it doesn't sort of take away from my channel, and I'm not going to annoy me viewers, that's fine. Let me know. I'll probably be able to do something with you. So question 3, what's the best woodworking tip you have received? Let me know in the comments again. What's the best woodworking tip you've received? On my video that I'll put out what I'm making, I'll let you know what that is, what I've had. I think one of the main biggest tips I've received is mainly slow down, take your time in what you're doing, don't rush. I mean, I tend not to rush when I'm round the big saws, but just don't rush. Here's Shelley here with a stain going on the Morel Spirit-based stain. She's just dabbing it into the end grain there using a microfiber cloth. Much better to use that and spread it than using a brush. If there's some holes or anything like that and you need to get in with a brush, that's fine. But if you have a look how easy that's going on with that microfiber cloth, it's something else. It just cuts down loads and loads of time and makes that, well, Shelley does this, she said it makes it enjoyable to actually do. And I mean, just look at that, how it's going on. It speaks for itself. The video speaks for itself. There's no editing there or anything like that. So here I go. Now I'm using pocket holes. Now I'm getting better with my pocket holes. I am going to make like a little stand for doing this pocket hole joinery to keep everything nice and level. I just want I'm just learning about it at the minute. I'm still learning. I'm still in that learning mode phase, whatever you want to call it, with it. So yeah, that's it. And here's the back side of it where I'm sort of drilling them pocket holes in. And this pocket hole jig, it's linked up to me shop vac again. It's got like a magnetic thing on the back. And I'm lucky with this sort of shop vac I've got. It's a DeWalt one, and it's really good. It's really powerful, so it sort of holds itself in there. It's not a tight fit, but I'm sure you can get adapters and stuff like that. But it works fine for me and for beginners. Whatever you've got, if you need to put a bit of duct tape round that or something like that to make it work for you, do it. It doesn't really matter, does it? So question 4. How do you deal with mistakes? I mean, woodworking mistakes. When I first started woodworking, how I dealt with them, it done me head in. It's sort of not felt like failure, but I felt stupid. So it was just one of them. It felt like stupidity. But the more I do, and the more you put out your mistakes, like if I make a mistake on any of these videos, I'm putting it out there for everybody to see, and you get over it. That's how I get over it. That's how I deal with it, and I sort of admit up to him, like, oh yeah, I made a mistake. I've done this wrong or I'm doing that wrong. You'll probably see mistakes on these videos what I'm making, and if there's any comments down below that gives us hints and tips, let me know. So I'm just going in. I don't know whether this is the right way to pocket hole these. I thought doing them at the ends, 2 at the ends of each end, might have been better. A joiner or a carpenter out there will let me know, no doubt, what's best practice here. So here we go again with the pocket holes. It looks slightly slanted there. That's the picture angle. It's not a mistake. But anyway. So I'm just pocket holing it. Everything's been pre-stained here at this point. It's something Shelley likes doing, and I think sanding and staining is good practice. I do go over it again, and I virtually sand it back to where there's no stain on it. You'll see shortly in the video. Now, here's where this is like an outer casing for the legs of the TV stand, and I've put a pocket hole right in the middle there. And you'll see further on in the video, I shouldn't have put that there. I maybe should have tried to put them somewhere else because it becomes visible. But we get round it. Shelley gets round it, actually, not me. So that's that. Just go in sort of nice and easy with them pocket holes. Don't over drill it. Get the torque on your drill correct. So I'm just pilot holing here, and I'm going to screw the outer now onto, you know, the frame, get it up and built. So question 5, I think I'm on. How do you decide when a project is truly finished? When do you step back and say that's finished? What makes you think that project is truly finished? If you're like me, nothing ever seems to be finished. That it is finished, but you know, I always stand back and think, you know, I could do this, or I could do that. I could do this, or I could do that. And Shelley has to say to me, no, it's done, it's fine, leave it, it's fine. Stuff I make round the house, or jobs I'm doing round the house, some DIY, I tend to go overboard. But let me know in the comments what you know, when you decide your projects are finished. So I'm just going in here with the screws. I think these are 3.5 centimetre screws. I will double check. So I had some plugs cut. These are oak plugs. The frame and everything, it's pine obviously, but I had some solid oak plugs cut. I thought I'd use them, it'll contrast it up a bit. So I'll just put them in, bang them in with my 4 hammer. Great for the neighbours. And they're a really tight fit, so I'm just sanding round the sort of plug just to make them go in a bit easier. And then I'm just getting my Japanese flush cut saw. Now, I've got to do this towards me here. I should be doing it away from me. So best practice here is like cut away from you. It was just the positioning of how I was doing it here. If you know what you're doing and you're safe, you'll be fine. But best practice, apparently, is away from you. So here it is, sort of like put together, but not finished. I've got to put the top on. I've got to re-go round it with stain and a sand. I just wanted to see what it looked like, dimensions, if there was anything structural I wanted to do. You can see a mistake I made down there where I drilled a hole in the wrong place. So what I've done is I've plugged that, and Shelley will go over that again with some stain. Now the finish my sister-in-law wanted on this was a scuffed rustic look, same as what we've got in my house. And so it's not this scuffed this much. I'm just going back here, levelling everything out and just sort of giving it a sand back, making it a lot more smoother. But the idea of the pre-stain is everything internal is done, and then I can just go over the outside. So I've gone over once. It's sort of like basically having 2 coats of stain, and then I'll go over it again with a little scuff back, to give it a bit of age and a bit of rusticness. Exactly what my sister-in-law wants. You'll see that, and there's that mistake with the pocket hole. So Shelley's just going in here now with a brush, and she blends all that in. I can get plugs for that. I know I can get plugs or a plug cutter and make some plugs. That's something I will look at. I'm still learning the different sizes and head sizes of the screws and of the pocket hole screws. So I don't want to be going out rushing and buying stuff and then realising that I don't need it. So I'd just rather do my research and only buy what I need and when I need it. You know, you buy stuff off Amazon, it's here next day, or the vast majority of us are not that far from like big box stores, that kind of type places, B&Qs we call them, Screwfix, etc. in the UK. So I'm just marking out here. Now this is something I've now started taking my time doing, is marking out locations for drilling where people are going to see the first thing, and normally in the past I just rush and I bang like holes in, and I'd put, you know, like plugs in, and it'd look a bit naff in the end, but just taking my time, making it look a bit better, and it doesn't take that much more time. So I'm marking out everything. And some of this, what you don't see on the video, is I've got like one of these big T-rule square things. I forget the actual name of it. I got it from Banggood in China, and it works brilliantly. So I'm just going over it there. And just take your time. It's just all a learning curve. We're all learning, aren't we? And just a recap on the last video where I was making me shop stool to sit down. You know, that's took pride of place in the house now. Shelley's got it covered in plants, so I ain't got a shop stool. So if there's any stool people out there that want to send me a stool, please feel free. I'm only joking. So I'm just plugging this here, again with the same old plugs. Just nice and easy tap. There's glue in them holes as well. I just put a bit of glue in the bottom. And just nice and easy. They're really tight fitting, these. Now, the plug cutter and the countersink thing were off the same set, so I don't know why they're that tight. So under these sort of slats here, I have glued it. And I'm just going in with longish sort of brads here. I've lined everything up, and then I'm just tapping them heads home. I like to leave them a little bit proud, because then it just saves a lot of the marking. And then I'm just going over with a flush cut bit, flush cut saw to the top. Nice and easy. There's something really satisfying about that as well, doing that. I ain't got a clue why, it just really is. Now I'm just going to go over that again. It just feels like with this, it's a lot of sanding, a lot of, you know, cosmetics on this job. The actual structurally, it was really easy to do, apart from one or two mistakes I've made. And I've managed, by thinking about it, to sort of either make them right, that kind of thing. So here he is, waiting for the postman. He's waiting to chew the postman up. And here's Shelley now going over the top again. And just look at that now, look at that finish on there. Now, the bit she didn't want scuffed up was the top. Everything else, the frame, she wanted scuffed up, but the top, she wanted sort of a uniform finish. Now, what I've done with them two boards, they're two boards I've actually pocket hole screwed together, and it's got them ultra level. I mean, I did sand it, and I got them dead smart and nice and neat. This is good stuff, going over it with a polyvine decorator's varnish. It sort of seals all the wood, and, you know, it's just good stuff in general. And you can see here Shelley there just going over it. It's like a milky substance. And just look at it pop that colour now. I've gone over that with like an hand sand, and then, but just look at that now. The polyvine's going over it, and it's bringing that grain out through that stain. And this is exactly the look she wanted. Best practice with this is always 2 coats. So let that, you know, dry and put another coat on. There, it's finished. That's it, finished. Ready to go. There. Oh, look at him on telly. What a guy. And that, sorry about the lighting here, by the way. It was night time when I did this bit of filming. So, yeah, it's a nice thing. The one behind it's our one. She just wanted, ours is all sort of like the black stain finish. You can just see it there. But my sister-in-law wanted like a more wood on the shelf at the bottom and on the top, so it's contrasting up with other stuff she's got in her house. And here it is in her house. She's got it within 2 days. There it is. So let me know what you think in the comments of it. Sorry about the picture quality here. Shelley did that bit because she went and delivered it. So see you on the next video, and thank you for watching. You're all amazing.